How is it going, fellow gamers? So in this video I really want to talk about my tips as far as gearing once you hit level 10 and beyond in Star Wars The Old Republic for story and PvE content only. So these tips obviously are not going to necessarily work well if you're a PvE player or endgame player where you need to have the best stats you can get. This is mostly if you're just someone that's playing through the story, you want to play through your class story level 1 through 70. If you have all the expansions, obviously, and that's it. So if you're on your Republic fleet and you just hit level 10 and you are just playing through the story, this is going to be my tips on how to gear your character so that you're pretty much always, at least you have enough stats to go through the game, right? So every fleet, whether it's the Republic or the Empire side, on the supplies section, you're going to see your modifications vendors, right? And you're also going to see your adaptive gear vendor. Right away as you hit level 10, one of the things you can do, they have sets of armors that cost 600 credits. So let's say a full set of armor, or by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces, okay, would be 5,400 credits. You should have that amount of credits after going through the story because you don't really need to buy anything. And you don't really need to... And you don't need to keep anything. You can just go ahead and sell everything, even armor that you get by the time you hit this level, right? If you have at least 5,400 credits, so there's going to be armor here in the adaptive gear vendor that goes for 600 credits. That already comes pre-armored, pre-modded, and enhanced, okay, with enhancements. So you can see that it already has armoring, mod, and enhancement, right? So these are going to be the easiest ones to get. Personally, what I would recommend is the 2,500 credit ones. Now obviously this is more expensive, so if all you did was hit level 10, you probably won't have enough money to buy all of the everything and modify it as soon as you have it. But if you get your crew skills like I recommended in my previous video, okay, the only thing I would recommend as soon as you hit level 10, go ahead and grab any set of gear that's 600, equip it, go to your second planet with your crew skills and just go through at least 2, 3, 4 levels of story content till you get to maybe level 14. 14 is a good one. And gather all the resource nodes you see along while you're walking on your missions. Keep all the money and then sell it on the Galactic Trade Network the way I recommended, to just undercut one of the people there, okay? By the time all that sells, you should have enough money. For example, me with this character, I just hit level 15. My escrow has 400,000. I am at the level cap basically. I have almost 800,000 credits already, and I've only been doing this for about 4 levels, which is about an hour and a half of gameplay. I almost have 1 million credits already, which isn't too bad. Now, obviously, this is not the fastest way to make credits either. I'm not going to suggest that it is, and it's not the best way to get your gear, but all you need to do, at least that way, you can go to the $2,500 ones, because the 2,500 credit, sorry, not dollars, my apologies, but the 2,500 credit armor does not come with armoring, mods, and dye modules. And that's how you modify gear that is of better quality. So green gear, blue gear, and some artifacts, which are purple quality gear, do not come with... or some of them can't be modified. Green and blue, I'm pretty sure, can never be modified. Armoring, sometimes you can modify them, but orange is always modifiable. If you see like these that have a orange outline in the square. So you have your armoring, your mods, your enhancements, and then your weapon is actually going to have a hilt if it's a lightsaber or a barrel, and a color crystal. Alright? And that's going to be very important. Some things, let's say like a belt, don't have enhancements. That's just the way they decided to do it. But you want to basically go through and make sure that your armor has all this, and that's what the modification vendors are for. Appreciate your business. If you bought the $600 ones that comes pre-modded and got to level 14 your planet just so you had enough money to get a full set of this 2,500 credit armor that looks good. For example, that's what I'm wearing now. I have the Omen Bringer, is pretty much everything that I have except for the pants. I didn't like the way that it had a what was it, a leg wrap. Not that I don't like those. For my sorcerer, for example, I have the leg wraps, but I figured that for my Jedi Guardian it should actually be pants. I just cosmetically, that's what I like. But that's really all you want to do. if it's a set of gear that's empty, you hit level 14. Alright, so you're gonna go through armoring. Okay, pretty much all the gear needs armoring. So you're gonna find your armoring. Armoring is really simple because there's only two options. There's resistive armoring and versatile armoring. Any tank character, you want to go with resistive because it gives you more endurance. Versatile gives you 6 endurance and 8 mastery. Versatile is going to be if you're a DPS character or a healer where you need a lot of attack damage, or you need your heal to hit for a lot, right? That's what you need. Same thing with the hills. If you're a Jedi, for example, or your barrels, you want resistive if you're a tank. You want versatile if you're doing DPS or attacking more. As far as modifications, there's only two options. There's warding mod and lethal mod. Lethal gives you power on top of the mastery and endurance. Warding gives you defense rating on top of mastery endurance. Obviously, defense rating is great for tanks. If you're a defensive character, if you're the one that's going to be aggroing your enemies, taking all the hits, you want the warding mod. And if you're doing damage, you're just sitting there, put as much damage out as you can. If you're a DPS character, say a Jedi sorcerer, Sith sorcerer. I suppose you could be a Sith sorcerer that turns to the light side, and there you go, you're a Jedi sorcerer. But anyway, for the Jedi, that would be the Jedi Sage. But that's going to be it. So you want the lethal mod if you're a damage or healer out, you're going to want warding if you are a tank or any kind of, basically a tank. If you're a character that's going to take a lot of hits and the dark side grows stronger. Well, this is my Jedi Guardian, so that's bad. Anyway, the other thing that mods have is a A and a B. So the letters kind of change the ratio of the stats that you get. Warding mod, like you can see, the 7 gives you 6 mastery, 4 endurance, 5 defense. This one gives you more mastery, but less endurance, as you see, and more defense rating. And then the B gives you, less mastery, but it gives you more endurance and more, just a little bit less defense rating. So you really just want to pick, I guess, in that sense. If you don't really need to worry about too much if you're only playing through the story. If all you're doing is going through the story, just playing out the story, you don't really need to worry about too much which one you get. You could just get your 7, leave it, set it, and forget it kind of thing. Just pick the non-lettered mod. Same thing with the lethal mod if you're a DPS character. You don't need to worry too much about it as far as if you're only completing the story. And enhancements are a whole different beast because there are a lot more variety. As you see, there's no just Adept 7A, 7B. They're all different names. And a lot of them will give you completely different stats. Like, none of these give you your mastery. Right? As you can see, none of these give you mastery. But this one, for example, gives you power and critical rating. This one gives you shield rate and defense rating. This one, absorption and defense. Power critical. Power critical again. Shield defense. So they vary a little bit. Like this one, for example, gives you accuracy and power. So it really depends on what kind of a character you want. Like, let's say you are a tank. So, alright, if you have a shield, like you're a tank, like a Jedi Guardian, you want shield rating, you want defense rating, you also want absorption rating. So obviously Bastion is going to give you shield defense, Bulwark is going to give you absorption and defense, but there's also, there's also Vigilant that gives you absorption and defense, and there's also Sturdiness that has absorption defense, and Steadfast that has shield rating and defense. All of those enhancements would be enhancements that a Jedi Guardian would take advantage of because we have a shield generator. So that's important. If you are a DPS character, well, you have your Adept that gives you power and critical rating. That's good. Alright, for example, Discipline gives you power and critical rating also stats for a DPS. But all of these give it to you in a different ratio. Like Discipline gives you more endurance than Adept gives you. So if you're a ranged character that you're very rarely actually taking hits, maybe you don't need as much endurance, so you can go for Discipline. But if you are a DPS character that does still take a lot of damage, maybe you want to pick something in the middle where you get your power and your crit rating but also endurance. So that really depends on the playstyle of the character and what advanced class you choose. So maybe for these I would go ahead and probably Google which ones work best for your character. But other than that, once you've gone ahead and bought them and gone in and, let's say, slotted them into the armor, that's really it. After that, you hit level 14, there's really not much you need to do. You never have to change your armor again. If you hit level 22, cool. You'll just come to the level 2 modification, 22 modification. You'll buy your set of mods again, and you can literally go with the exact same ones. If you remember, oh, well, I bought like 4 of the Bastion enhancements and 3 bulwarks, okay? Then, well, just go ahead, get the enhancement 11 one instead of 7, and now you'll have level 22 mods. And same thing, every single time you level up and you get a new level, that's all you need to do. Just go ahead and go to the next level modification vendor that sells gear for your level. 65 is the last one on the fleet. So once you hit level 65, okay, you come here, boom, 2,500 a pop. And keep in mind though that this is not very affordable to do this every single time you reach the next slot, especially if you're using your crew skills to get credits as you're leveling. Now I have, like I said, almost 800,000 credits. That's enough to completely outfit everything at level 65 with 2,500 credit mods. Alright, so credits, for example, is not necessarily too difficult, but keep in mind these are all green quality. They're the lowest tier of modifications that you can get, so they're not going to be that great for end game content. Once you hit level 70 and you finish all the story, obviously you've reached the end game and gearing becomes a little bit more complicated. But if all you're doing is playing the game level 1 through 50, 1 through 55, 1 through 60, if you subscribe now, you will get everything already, all the expansions up to level 70. So, but if you, let's say, bought the game at release and just got back to the game and don't feel like subscribing and you just want to be a preferred player and that's it, then you'll still be able to do this all the way to level 50. I think level 48 is the closest modifications vendor to that, and it is right here, I believe. Yeah, right here is the level 48 modifications vendor. So 52 you wouldn't reach to. But in either case, if you do, you go all the way to level 70 to follow your story. All you need to do, you can literally keep the same armor the entire game, and that's it. Now, obviously, if throughout the game you find a set of armor that you think looks way cooler that you can also modify, then great. You can just switch that armor piece and keep doing the same thing. Come get your modifications. And that's about it. That's really all you need to do. And any end game gear, any kind of higher quality gear like that, most of them will have modification slots for your armoring, your mods, your enhancement, your hilt for your lightsaber or barrel for weapon in that case. So it's really not that bad. This is all you need to worry about if you're just playing through the story and you want to experience Star Wars The Old Republic as a BioWare story game. And that's really it, guys. It's really not that complicated if you just stick to this and do what I did with the crew skills. Have archaeology, bioanalysis, and scavenging so that you can gather all the materials with you throughout the world and make some credits that way. You will never run out of credits. It's not really a problem. You are not going to have a problem affording the gear that you need. So that's really it. It's very easy. This game is very easy to finish the story-wise. End game, okay, can be harder. If you're doing Knights of the Fallen Empire on veteran or master difficulty, obviously that will be more difficult. But if you're just going through to experience the story from level 1 to max level, and that's it, this is the easiest way to do it, I believe. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys around next time.